Joined now by Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota. And Senator, thank you so much for being here. You used to be a skeptic about getting rid of the filibuster. What changed your mind?
A wise and thoughtful senator. I was just listening to Senator Thune's words, and I think we need to change badly in that place. So go on.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, thank you. I didn't mean to step on you. But yeah, I guess, you used to be skeptical about changing the filibuster, but you've made a hard turn on that. What triggered your change of heart on that?
I think it was the winter that Senator Thune referred to, that we have not been able to get anything major done, short of a national disaster when we have the pandemic upon us. Then people may scurry and scrum together and get things done. But we have major issues before us. And one of them, this will be the first time, thanks to the Senator Warnock and Senator Ossoff and their wins in Georgia, that we're going to be able to have the gavel and we're going to have a hearing. I am in the Rules Committee on the For the People Act. While in Georgia and other states across the country, over 200 bills introduced to try to dismantle voting rights. It's literally what they thought is, okay, we lost the national election, record number of people vote. We're going to not change our message or try to reach out to people, say the Republicans. Instead, we're going to double down on that message at CPAC. And then let's just make sure less people vote. I think Warnock said it best in his maiden speech. What this is about is some people don't want some people to vote. Those 8 words will mean more than anything I say to you on this interview. So that's what this is.
Well, and the thing is, well, I mean, there is a lot of focus from, some groups who are saying, well, okay, make a carve out in the filibuster for voting rights legislation. However, we've just had another massacre. We've had 2 massacres in 2 weeks, both in Georgia and now in Colorado. You've got the For the People Act, which you just mentioned. You've got this Background Checks Act that's passed the House. You've got enhanced background checks. You've got the George Floyd Justin Please. There are so many bills piled up. And I'm old enough to remember that when Mitch McConnell was in the minority during the Obama administration, he used the filibuster to pretty much bring the Senate to a halt. And there's a great piece in the Atlantic which talks about the fact that basically the filibuster means there's no accountability. Just threatening a filibuster can just kill any bill in advance before there's any debate. Mitch McConnell is demanding that it stay that way. Why would any Democrat go along with that? Can you explain why some of these conservative Democrats want it to stay that way?
I think, first of all, Joy, there's a whole bunch of people that want to see a change. And even Senator Manchin has talked about bringing in a talking filibuster, which would force them to actually have to, in the movies, speak instead of just hiding back in their offices or going home and stopping a bill. And I think what has happened here is that people have realized in stark terms, if January 6th didn't turn you, I don't know what does. There are people that literally are trying to upend our democracy, that don't believe in people's right to vote, that only believe in some people's right to vote. And that's not what America is about. In the words of the African-American police officer who, after being pummeled with poles, turns to his friend and said, "Is this America?" It's not. And so that's why it's so important that we pass this bill. And that will allow us, by the way, to do a bunch of other really important things for this country. And I think the proof is in the America Rescue Plan. None of those Republicans voted for it in the U.S. Senate, but a bunch of the Republican constituents and Democrats wanted it. And to get it done, we did it with a 51-vote margin, and it worked.
What do you think? These guys, the Joe Manchins, the Kristen Sinemas. What do you think the trigger might be for them? Because you had something that finally said to you, we've got to change this. In speaking with your conservative colleagues on the Democratic side, what do you think it will take? Is it going to take all of these bills failing on the floor to get cloture over and over, voting rights, gun reform, and all of it failing, even, transportation and all of those bills? Do you think it's going to take those bills actually failing before they change their minds?
I don't. You'd have to ask them. And I will say Senator Manchin is one of the authors, as you know, of the background check bill that almost passed before. So they understand what the stakes are. And Senator Sinema understands the stakes in her state in Arizona when it comes to economics and climate change and the like. And so I believe that we need to get this bill to the floor. And we need people to understand that there are people in our country that are literally trying to make it impossible for them to vote by mail. Why did all these people vote in the middle of a public health crisis? Because for the first time in many states, you could vote by mail. You didn't have to have a notary public sign things. And they're literally trying to peel that back. And I think we're going to have such a strong case to make for the public that you'll see movement on our side.
Very quickly, before I let you go, your thoughts very quickly on the Derek Chauvin trial. Do you think that, do you expect justice in this case? You've been a prosecutor in that state. Do you expect, what do you think?
I think you know where I am on this case. I've been very clear that I felt those prosecutions had to be brought. I have faith in our Attorney General, Keith Ellison. They've got good lawyers on the case, and I always believe that you let the evidence speak for itself in the middle of a trial. And but right now the jurors have been picked and the trial is going to start. And for me, my piece of it is not the trial, because I won't be in the courtroom. My piece of it is what you mentioned, Joy, and that's in my role on the Judiciary Committee to get the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act done.
Yeah. Senator Amy Klobuchar, thank you so much for your time this evening. Really appreciate it.
All right.